Warriors need that win to force in Game 7. The Lakers, though, will suffer between 13-7 Anthony Davis.
The Lakers came up somewhere between hot and scorching.
How about a 3? 13. 5 minutes to go in the first. Lakers now at 14. That's Austin Reeves. Not 3. 17 points. Steph Curry struggled early on. Loses the ball. Able to get that one. Warriors. 10-point. Curry. Over LeBron. Gets the foul in the top. Close that gap. Pressure up. Will come back in this. Lakers at 6 now in the second. Reeves. 9. Feeling hours, but wait for something else to come. Wing 3 points in the first half. Down Warriors down 7 points. To the air ball. The rebound tries to put him back up, and he's blocked by Davis. Backs it down. Race. Done. That is Davis. Points. Second quarter 20. Lakers. Let's go. Davis. Davis. The next inbound gets fouled.
Two-step Texans.
Hit story. Welcome. Late night. It's on a late night and shit. I'm here and there. You can turn that down some bucks for me, bro. We on a late night right now, man. I'm on a late night and we doing not a real talk, but we doing hits. The episode 1, season 1 premiere, his story. Pay attention. First title, first episode, reasons. Episode 1, man, the premiere. Hit. Pay attention. His story. A little different tonight, man. Like, instead of the real talk, man, I'm coming to y'all live and direct myself, man, on a late night. And eventually, as we up the ante, we will be having a face to the conversations with me on a late night. You know what I'm saying? We will be using the camera and things like that as well coming into it. Obviously, we're talking about the RDL7 league, man. And you're about to get my perspective on a lot of things, man. It's not just about what guys are doing, teams and stuff. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, man. I named the title of the first episode Reasons, for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. So we're going to bring y'all right to the direct start of my reasons, right? I might have 10 of them. I might have one reason. I have a reason to have this conversation with y'all tonight or early this morning. And that reason is we're going to talk about the creation of RDL7, not the RDL League. Most of you have been around since Madden 17 with us to understand that the creation of RDL7 has taken us to a different platform when it comes down to franchise leagues. There's no league doing what we do There can be some duplicates and copycatters, but no league is doing what we do and how we do it. All right. My reason is because I work hard as a commissioner and I got a team around me that work just as hard. And we get things done, man, to bring 2024 Madden. I mean, we beyond years 24, 25, 26, the way we do things, man. It's just different, right? So, because of that, let's talk about, me as a commissioner and the ways that things happen in our league, right? You come to our league, you're dealing with an editing league because we do our own draft classes and we bring in real life players into the draft class and give you real life players with likeness. We make them before Madden gets a chance to make these guys, and we go all the way from the guys that just came out of this year's draft in real life, 2023, all the way to some kids that are in high school, all the way down to their freshman year, and we get these guys on the game and we close it out and finish the summer like that. All right, reasons, right? The reasons for me to go into rants, the reason for me to have a guest on here, the reason for me to do all the things I do is because every time you do something, you should have a reason. It should be a reason to go with it.
I gotta thank my black president for years. The Bible explains how he was heaven sent. Now, living a dream through his intelligence. Now every black man feeling relevant. I need to know if it's meant for me to conquer my goals.
And if I, with the world respect and honor my flow,
I got to go, so I promise I'ma hand you a show. And it's no secret when I speak it, I'ma handle it pro.
well, I'm going to tell y'all what the reasons is, man. So, I named the title of RDL7 the Hunger Games. I named it Quarter Quell for a reason, man. Again, if you guys are, follow the Hunger Games series and things like that, you will understand what the Quarter Quell was, right? The Quarter Quell was things changed, difference. They threw a monkey wrench in the game, right? What you're used to all the time. The structure of it, the building of things, the similarities, the things that are the same. So when you think of RDL, you know what's going to happen at RDL. If you've been around, you understand it. If you're, just tuning in or have been playing in the league for the first time, you're learning, right? But we've been doing things the same way. If you're a part of the Mad Franchise Junkies brand, then you understand we've been doing things the same way. What a Quarter Quell. I'll take you to the movie of Hunger Games, man. After they won the victors in the Hunger Game, everybody had to cough up two people from each district to fight to death, right? And that's how they kept order in their little, their little world, right? They kept order that way so nobody rebel against the Capitol. They took two kids from each district and made them fight to the death, and the winner will have their own, their life changes, right? They'll live riches and spoils, and they'll never be able to have to enter the arena again. Their names would never be brought into, brought up for them to have to, go defend and fight for their lives again. That's part of a tradition that they had, something that they did the same. Well, the Quarter Quell changed everything. It was this, it was the seventh, season. It was the quarter part, it was the seventh part of their season, the Quarter Quell, right? And what they did was they brought the victors that won in every arena and made them go fight to the death, right? So they changed up, they switched up, they did something they wasn't, never doing before. And Quarter Quell is something that we did now. In a sense, we went back to the original, you hear us saying, gladiator days. We go back to where, we're going to work for things, right? With a little bit of the new flavor as well. But for the most part, guys had to work for things. And what we are seeing now, through 4 seasons of playing right now, we're seeing how much it meant to be able to help keep order and balance in our league. All right, let's just get to the point. Without the order and balance, the commissioner giving out gifts on shows or coming through and doing some things for guys, helping them manage their rosters, handing out superstars, things like that. Things to keep a balance in the league to better make guys better stay competitive. When you do things like that, you get a bunch of complaining that happens, right? And what I learned over, the years of playing this game, competitors are competitors. But what comes with competition is a loser and a winner on each side of that, right? The coin flips, one loser, one wins, right? And with that being said, what happens is guys are competitive and they got to find reasons why they're losing. Remember, the storyline is the episode is called Reasons. Now, I need a reason, right? So, I gave y'all a reason on how things, with order and how things are going right now. We're raw dogs now. A lot of guys ain't getting that. I'm falling back. We're not doing no gifts and none of that stuff. I'm not handing out things. None of that shit. We haven't been doing none of that through the first 4 seasons and all that, right? Now, we have our new ways of things. There are ways you can do certain stuff by packaging up and all that, but we took away the major thing of any league in this game. And if any mode you play in this game, the most important thing of those modes are ability players. Okay, so now what happens is guys got to earn those abilities, right? You're not getting them unless you draft it out of the draft or you develop guys into those abilities. And not giving out abilities is starting to show with a lot of guys, and a lot of you guys won't pay attention to the shots I've been throwing out there with guys been quarter quelled. And what I mean by that is some of you guys are struggling right now, man. I've never seen our league with scores looking the way they're looking right now. I mean, when we're doing gifts and we're handing out superstars and I'm flipping teams and making sure y'all can keep up, and the guys that's not good at building and things like that, we make sure we keep y'all built and things like that. So when the teams start to show a little bit of differences, right, where guys start developing and know what they're doing and their teams start getting developed, we start to see, damn, this guy can't compete with me. His team ain't nowhere near like mine. So therefore, let me help them out some and make sure guys can compete. And then next thing you know, everybody's got all the same players everywhere, right? But in real football, and a lot of guys had this complaint, oh man, it's always holes on teams, right? And I don't care what your overalls look like, your offense, your defense, or your overall. It could be 99 right now, and everybody know what this game does. If you're hot during the season, your overall goes up all year long. At the end of it, it drops back down to when you're not playing games anymore. It drops back down to what your real overall is. With the green arrows up, it changes everything, right? But now, to go back to making things even, giving guys, every guy in the league got a superstar X Factor quarterback. We're not doing that now. So you'll go through the whole summer with some of these guys that's not going to have an ability on their quarterback. Some guys aren't going to develop the talent they got from the draft classes. Some guys are going to, if they don't draft it ability-wise already, they'll be stuck with the guys being exactly that. Then you got to take in consideration that when guys get older, so you got guys that came with your team that got abilities, X Factor, superstars. These guys get older. Once they hit the 30-year-old plus threshold, and age, bracket, now they have to finish in the top 5 and stats to better keep their abilities. Make room for the new guys, right? And what happens is guys are getting rid of guys way too early. They're going through the motions of things that they're used to doing. And what they don't realize is when you lose a 30-year-old on a superstar just because he just turned 30, let's say you got an X Factor that's on 30 years old and he just turned 30 and he didn't make it in the top 5. Well, he's only going to drop to a superstar. You got guys getting rid of superstars because they're 30 years old and don't have no way or idea how to fix it, how to replace it, how to do things like that. I went through one of my Real Talk shows and I talked about the scores, the way the scores are looking right now. You either winning the game or getting aired, simple as that. And it's a lot of getting aired going on around right now. And my question is, what's the reason? Again, we're stuck on this reason shit tonight, right? Because that's the episode. I need to know what the reasons is, man. Tell me what the reasons is. Why are guys getting their asses whipped right now, right?
Uh-oh.
And guys are getting their asses whipped right now because they don't have the keys to do the things they need to do to stop the ass whoopings. And you don't have the support or help from the same guy that y'all complain to. Oh man, if we did this or do that, you stop doing this and that. You know what I mean? We'll be doing this and that. Look, we always say keep that energy, right? Keep the same energy and all that. And we're looking at the energy, and I know I'm predicting things, and things are changing right now because guys were, excited when the league started. Some guys took the best teams on the game. Some guys took teams they needed to build. Some guys are playing with guys that already, are in the league guys, and they really not caring about the draft class. Some guys are building through the draft completely. At the end of the day, you have to be able to do some things to keep yourself in a situation where you can play, right? So anytime we address complaints, more complaints will come off the things we do to address it. So one of the major complaints coming out of Game of Thrones was, if you stop giving guys shit and this and that will go down. Well, we did stop doing that. And those same guys that was barking that right now are in the word, my favorite words is called struggles, right? They struggling. I call it straight struggles, right? And you're starting to see it. One thing about a franchise, playing Madden franchise, is development matters. What you do with your team matters. How you are with your team or how you see your team matters. So when you go pick a team in the beginning of the dish, when we do team selection, you should pick that team and understand you should have a reason why you pick that team. And in that reason, you should have a plan on what that team is going to look like down the line. Because it is franchise mode, right? We have seasons, and this franchise should last until the new disc come out. So when you pick that team, how are you viewing and looking at that team? And we had guys super excited. I mean, guys talking shit. Oh, it's on now. Yeah, tides are turned now, right? Yeah, you had it. And then you had the guys saying, oh, these niggas still picking the same old team. They want the best teams and shit, but want to be called dogs and all this and that. I can care less about any of that. What I care about is, what are you doing with your team? What's your reason on why you picked that team to start the disc off with? What's your plan for doing what you're doing with that team? Right? Are you succeeding? Are you executing? Are you where you are right now? Right? Because we told y'all, some of you guys winning right now won't be winning later on if y'all don't do the things. If history tells us who y'all really are. And some of you guys were the guys saying, oh, if you stop doing this and doing that, we'll show you who we are. And we're going to be able to whoop niggas' ass and shit like that, even the playing field. And now y'all looking like, you're getting quiet. Where's your energy at? Are you going to be the same guy you was in season 1 when you thought you was ringing bells and all that, while some of these guys that, had the ass teams and getting them together, started getting them together. Now they getting them shits together. Are you still that guy with the same mouth you had when you asked for this? Some of y'all asked for this, right? We shouldn't be walking through the league seeing scores. I mean, guys is getting on the average, getting their ass whipped by 60 and 70 points. Those 60 and 70 point ass whoopings wasn't happening in Game of Thrones when I was giving y'all everything to make things even, helping you manage your cap, giving you superstars, coming through, blessing niggas, giving gifts out on shows. All those things was being done to be able to keep the league where we're almost headed now. When I'm not handing out these things, you're starting to see it. So who are you? What are you going to be? How are you going to do things going forward? I mean, you go through the league and you talk about, let's just go, follow me for a second. And I'm not going to rosters yet. I'm just going to go to the standings, and we're going to talk about some of the guys that are where they are right now. And I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I'm going to speak my mind. That's that. All right. If you look at the undefeated teams right now, and we'll talk about some of them and we'll keep it moving. The Browns sitting at 4-0 right now, but the Browns right now isn't proven. He's 4-0 because he's getting forced wins. Simple as that. Right? But I will say this, he's a new player in our league. He's a new player in RDL. And what I do say about him is he's doing things his way, but I don't know what his reason is yet, right? But I know the reason why he's 4-0 is because he ain't playing nobody yet. Like, nobody's playing him, and he done got a couple of forced wins, and he'll even be 5-0 after this advance, because he ain't going to be playing the Bengals either. So that, him being undefeated right now isn't something that I'm thinking like, oh my God, this guy's that guy right now. Let's just be real. The Seahawks was the team that started off, draft, had all types of picks, tore the draft up, all that good stuff, and saw that, hey man, I like the young boys and all that, but what he found out was, this ain't for me. Drafting all rookies and shit like that and trying to build my team that way, I don't really like how that's looking for me right now. You know what I'm saying? We not being feeling the way we feel right now. So then he started to go get some players that other guys should have already had. He started trading for players already built. He's 5-0 right now. Whooping ass too. He's running through the league whooping ass right now, right? And then what's the reason? Well, he made adjustments because he understood his team. He understood what he needed and he did it. He's executing something that he needed to execute. Now, is it going to last? Is it going to stay same? Who knows? I don't know, because he should have a reason why it should always be successful for him, and he should show us who he really is. Is this who he really is right now? Or did he go do some things to understand how to be able to be where he's at right now? But what I do know is he had a reason on why he decided the draft ain't it. I'm giving up my picks right now because I want players already built right now. The Lions done it his way, and his way been working since we've known him. Why? Because he's a guy that can go out there and get the stats and do the things he need to do to get his team built. So he could do it through the draft class. Same here with the Texans. I can do that type of shit. We got Coach Prime over there. We doing what we do with him. We building all young guys right now. And eventually what happens is that young talent becomes the talent, and there's something to go with it. Falcons 3-2, right? Chiefs 4-1, Chargers 3-1. Everybody has a way of doing things that's in this top 5, right? Top 10. That's not even go top 5. Raiders 3-1 right now. And the Raiders is playing so-called good football, but let's just call it what it is. Like, he's 3-1 right now, but that's not. I think it could be schedule based, and one of those wins was against me. And bottom line, connection was terrible in that game. He won the game. Because what happens is you get brought back to life. When your young rookie quarterback looks like he's the best thing smoking. Everything you do works. You don't.
160 points against, ain't it neither?
You can't even fathom why you're playing one of the top players in the league and everything you doing is working. And then you realize, when you ask him like, yo, am I playing you? And he tell you, nah, you playing me, bro. Good shit. Good game though, but I couldn't control them. My connection was terrible. And then you get brought back down to earth when you play somebody that, you have a better connected game with, and you get brought back down to earth, throw 11 picks, and you start to look like, okay, back to reality. Simple as that, right? So I'm just telling my troops right now. The Packers 3-2. He did a really good job in the draft so far. He's not doing a bad job assembling the team. I mean, he had one of the better secondaries in the league right away to start. He has a good offense, right? But he struggles on defense, and you can see it with 145 points scored against, 129 scored. Right, the Eagles were one of the better teams to pick in RDL. Period. One of the better teams to pick since the Super Bowl in real life happened, and they did the roster upgrades and depth chart moves and all that stuff. The Eagles becomes one of the hot teams to pick. They become one of the higher overall teams to play with. All right, and Rob took that team, and to be honest with you, to me, he's benefiting from being in a division that's not really that good right now. Like, you got guys that's not really doing good. Although one of the teams in that division, which is the Cowboys, is playing better football, is still not good enough to supplant that Eagles team yet. So in my opinion, you got an Eagles team at 10 right now, and they had success last year. They went to a NFC Championship game, but right now they're dominating their division because it's a division that can be dominated. To me, the Commanders are in that division, and to me, they should be not allowing this shit right now. But they got to get their shit together. So it's a lot of stuff, though. But when you go start looking at the teams, I've been seeing a lot of people asking for players right now. A lot of people's looking for trades right now, which is great. This is how you start showing you intimate with your team at the end of the day. But ask yourself this: if you was one of those guys in the beginning having success right away, and some of the stuff that come out of our mouths on this real talk sound like we hating or we are haters, but ask yourself this: where you are right now, how much of what we were saying was true about you? I'm gonna bring in Snake. I know he's always on the show with me on the RDL. I'm gonna bring in Snake and just Snake. I'm on my reasons, my episode 1. I got a whole lot of things to talk about, and I'm gonna get to it and all that though. But just being my co-host on the Real Talk shows and things like that, and we was talking about a lot of these teams, man, and what's going on now versus what's going to go on later and stuff. Like, do you feel like we just picking that shit and hating, or do you think we have a storyline, and in that storyline we're finding things to be able to talk about that becomes truth, and guys aren't proving us wrong?
I mean, to this point where some of the things are now, we spoke this stuff up ahead of time. Man, and it just so happened that some of these crazy ass scores, you go back and look at these scores and stuff, like a lot of the stuff is spoke
I mean,
about.
let's take week 4. Let's go week 4 and go right down the fucking storylines. And I'm gonna talk about the games. I'm not gonna go into the games or why. I'm just gonna talk about the teams. Chargers. He took one of the best teams on the game. What makes them one of the best teams on the game? They got the most abilities to start the game off with. Simple as that. Titans, they're not one of the better teams on the game. So it's a lot of building. So like you got to be a special player to take the Titans, right? And the person that took the Titans,
he blew it up
right
away.
Did the right thing with taking them.
Exactly.
But what happens when no matter what, when you can't just, if you got to be a real dog on the sticks to be able to play 1 year, turn it off the next year. Play 1 year, turn it off the next year. And if you're chasing draft picks and things you're trying to chase, thinking you're going to get it through the draft, it's not working, bro. It's not working.
Is a reason. The reasons, like, it's different reasons people do that. Like, you can't call yourself a dog and do that so often. Like, I'm almost thinking, like, this might be the most we done had. Like, it just seems like there's so many people, like, fighting for draft picks like crazy. Is it because people really reaching for players?
I mean, it's part of it is RDL and guys. Most of these guys people know. They know it's RDL. They know college players and things like that. And some of us are really big college fans, so we want the players that we know, right? Some of them going after players that they think that I'm gonna make good, right? Not realizing that each year we do RDL, the kids end up getting real film. Where they get real grades now. They get real shit. Like, they ain't just high school kids coming out and I'm making them good. No, they're getting real things right now. But what happens is when you build a team, and the Titans doing a really good job at building this team, but he's doing the way he's getting to that build, listen, first of all, here's my one thing I'm gonna say to our Titans coach. In year 1, you made the best trades you did. You got rid of them veterans on that team. You got rid of guys that got you a lot of capital. And you went to the playoffs in year 1, won a division. In year 2, you decided to tank when you already had the picks. You had double picks in every round. I mean, in the first 2 rounds, you had the picks. You didn't have to tank. You already had the picks. You could have just played and continued to develop your team because and losing,
not for nothing,
your team is going to play like shit, and it's going to be hard to bring them out of the red versus bringing them out of the green and winning and still having those picks to better still do things.
And not for nothing, the sim year he chose to tank over progression as well. Instead of the progression of them players, you can still progress your players. So like, so what happens is, let's be real, when you foes got a little better on your game, but when you call yourself and stayed out there that you're a dog, we look for you to take that dog next step. So that tanking area of a year, like, you can't do that. We look for you to take that next step. When them playoff schedules come, you play through them motherfuckers. When you fall down, you take a couple of losses early on, you fight through that shit and go on a 7 game win streak to end your season and fight back to the playoffs, or at least be competing for that playoff spot. Like we seen the 49ers come back on vacation last season and then come back and fight through it. He got knocked out the playoffs the week of, and we've acknowledged him getting better in the game. So like, that's just that next step I look for. You know what I mean? Just
bottom line, when you tank a whole season and you do got the athletes on your team, you're doing a good job in the draft, like I said. But when you tank and you come off that tank, when you playing top tier teams that are one like the Chargers that are already built, they're gonna outclass you with veterans, right, and abilities. But you got young guys and all that, but they're just not developed yet. You're gonna have to develop them, and I think you will. But when you lose a
With
whole
that being said,
season,
he developing some players
and
when he does play.
well, we understand that, but the whole thing is when you're losing ball games, right? When you're losing ball
Right,
games, that energy carries over to the next season. So, is
right.
the Chargers 73 points better than you? If you played your games last year and your team, you might say you don't make the playoffs last year, but you played all your games and your team wasn't red, they was in the green and all that. Is the Chargers 73 to 7 points better than you? Like, if they are, is that the score that we want to see? Is that team that much better than yours, right? Or is it that you played yourself into so many losses that your team morale still down and you got to get it back up and be able to compete in a way? So is it worth going to go get the players you went and got and having to fight them out of red, or is it worth getting the players you got, getting them guys build and lock in and play all your games and try to win every game you're playing? It's the question, because again, when I'm talking about the difference in scores right now, you got to look at a 73 to 7 game. Now, I don't know what was the inner works of this game. Is he playing hard this year? Is he not? But then you give us that stigma. You give us that illusion of that maybe you might be saying we don't know. We don't know who you are. You're never going to show who you are, and you might not care enough to care about our opinion, right? But in my opinion, until you play out and start playing, and not taking the season off, playing the season, taking the season off, playing the season. Right now, you're not going to take that next step. Although we praised you to do Game of Thrones all the way until the start of this, because making those moves you made were good. Got you extra picks. Them extra picks get you to survive and through the draft, because it's a deep draft. There are dogs in the draft. You can get them and play with them without losing
Everywhere.
games. It's plenty of guys not losing games right now and they're still getting dogs when they draft, no matter where they drafted at. And you come down 52-42, Texans Dolphins game, high score game, right?
I ain't tanking no
42-20,
more.
Jacksonville and Patriots. My nigga, my nigga,
Force
and that's
one.
what the fuck I want to hear, my nigga, because again, you
I
came a
ain't
long way
way.
on this game, and he ain't tanking no more. So I like
Yeah,
that. I
that's
like
what's
to hear
up.
that shit, because he came a long way from walking in this league and taking losses like this, 73 to 7, to really
Cause
playing really good football.
like we
So
said, one thing I will say, like when he playing, a lot of times he is developing. So what happens when you're not taking that year
I
and
was
you
fat
still
chasing your
winning
thoughts should
and
you
really
go.
developing a couple more of them players like that, man? You're not. I don't think he's getting beat 73 to 70, 73 to 7. If he played because think about it, the year he played, he always developing somebody on offense or somebody on defense.
yes,
He
sir.
even had the wherewithal to stop Dick riding the one wide receiver Smith and try to give it more to Andy ISO, and that's why we gave him a nickname and shit. So he does have the wherewithal to try to develop, and he was getting the tight end involved, so he got the wherewithal to develop more than one player. So yeah, if he played them games and not taking that next season, I know he don't. I don't think he get beat like that. I
Game
know in week
2,
one the shit happened,
Houston
but go
goes
ahead.
into Miami in the monsoon and plays a 52 to 42 game. This game, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna just be honest with you. This game wasn't. It was crazy. It was a retarded game. Like, bottom line, it was shitty. I hate fucking playing those type of games. But what I saw a weaker defense in Miami, and the reason why they were a weaker defense is because Jalen Ramsey is now on a Falcons team on Superstar. Their best safety on star is sitting in LA right now on the Chargers team right now. Helped him and the Chargers win over the Titans. Those two pieces alone hurt that secondary that much. This team wants to play man to man more than they want to do anything. And now they don't have the pieces that can play man to man right now. So
Jalen Ramsey.
they're looking for replacements. And what they looking for? Cornerback and safety. Well, your best cornerback is sitting in Atlanta, and your best safety is sitting in LA. And right now, you had a team that was Super Bowl or bust team right now and is struggling to get wins right now. That's how important it is to know the reason of what your team is winning for. When we screaming while you're winning, if the pushback is, man, I'm like that. Nah, well, I'm not saying you're not like that. You are a guy that can win ball games, and you do a really good job of playing this game when things are the way they're supposed to be for you, right? So you came into the game with the Dolphins. You had the best, especially after your draft, you had the best team on the game right away, and you're doing a really good job. And right now, you're still killing it with Bryce Young. But you lost two pieces, and it turned your entire. Nothing else changed on your team besides those two pieces. Those same two pieces that you in chat trying to give all your picks up for to get those type of pieces back is something that you had on your team already. Now, where could have been a better management at? I don't know. Me personally, I don't think you need Tyreek Hill. You've shown that you can pick a receiver and do what you want with him. So I don't think you needed a Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill could have been a piece you got rid of to get you those pieces in the first place. You should have saw that future coming. Tyreek is like 32. He was getting dropped soon. You knew that if he ain't finished in the top 5. Simple as that. So that, just managing your team and understanding it. Why? Because history shows us as soon as you lost Kyle Pitts, as soon as you did what you did over there in the Game of Thrones League, you started getting your ass whipping, not winning games. And you're better than that. When you have the pieces you need, your scheme is great because you was taking guys to the woodshed, right? It was damn near every drive I went up the field and scored a touchdown or did something, and you damn near did it back because you still who you are offensively. You still got the pieces offensively to better move the ball on anybody. But right now, you're struggling to look for defensive pieces and these things that you should have saw coming. Jaguars, Patriots, 42-20, didn't play that game. Commanders, Cowboys, 30-24. Now, Dallas and Commanders have been playing real-life rival games now, but I ask myself this. They might get that much better, or is Hitter just not playing good football that bad? Like, he's playing that bad football right now. That would be my question there. This Commanders team, I'm waiting for them to have their breakout because to me, in that division in the NFC East, the Commanders should be the one challenging the Eagles every fucking season right now. I think Mike is still learning, how to play the video game, and he's getting way better at it. He's starting to understand that it ain't just about having a football IQ, it's about having a video game IQ as well. He's starting to get better, starting to understand that stuff. But is this matchup right here, is this, Mike's that much better now and Hitter fights and struggles with him, or the Commanders haven't found themselves yet because they've been struggling right now. And I think this is a guy that understands how to play with his roster and knows how to build and knows what he's doing to be able to get through games like this. Like, to me, the Commanders should be fighting for that division and should be winning it, to be honest with you, if you just really want my opinion. Panthers, Bucks, 38-35 ball game. All right, 38-35 ball game, right? I don't have really too much complaint about neither one of these two teams, right? Because both of these teams do a pretty good job of establishing who they are, and not only establishing who they are and what they do, they both are great and probably one of the best at what they do, right? You think about Carolina and Snake, you think about a run game, heavy run game. You think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you think about the free-form throwing downfield, one of the best free-form throwers we have, accurate as shit. But they put their teams together in the way they do, and when they do put it together and get it together, they are who they are. Simple as that. But both these two teams, in my opinion, don't need all the pieces to be there right away for them to be successful. The Bucks showed it by making the playoffs in year one. The Carolina Panthers showed it by making the playoffs every year thus far, right? And they doing it without having, like, if you go look at the Tampa Bay secondary, Tampa Bay secondary, I think I only saw one corner on ability. Same thing with the Panthers, only one corner on ability. So guys are playing with stars and developing them stars in the dogs and still winning and being able to control some things over there. So this is a rival, and right now it's one-sided. I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have beaten the Panthers yet, but 38-35 ball game, you see a good score there. Then you come to the 49ers in Minnesota. I think Minnesota's been putting the team together really solid, but then you ask yourself, is it because he's picking in the top 10 every year, right? Who are they? Because the 49ers, 45-28, these guys been in the same division before. They should know each other. They should be comfortable. And in my opinion, I think Drew should be playing more meaningful football. I don't know what it is that has him not really, turning that team around because they have a really good roster over there. So we'll see. But he's doing a good job at putting his team together, and I think, get some development going on over there. And he's not doing bad at all because we saw him change C.J. Stroud's fate. We looked at C.J. Stroud like, damn, it's going to be a bust over there. And he's not. He's been playing good football with him. Like, they're establishing who they want to be and the reason why they are the Vikings, and they understand the team a little bit. And I think they're drafting pretty well. I mean, you can't really go wrong unless you're just picking the wrong shit when you're in the top 10. But they're there. But I just think Minnesota got to stop coming in third place in that division right now, right? Like, you should be able to compete with the Packers. You should better beat the Packers. You should better give Falk games. You're not playing a person like Falk who you haven't played twice a season for all of Game of Thrones, where when you did play him, you would give him some games where you could either beat him or he struggled to beat you. So you got to better, fight for this division yourself as well at some point. Rams, Colts, 71-24. You start to see the scores. I mean, Detroit goes into Pittsburgh and hangs 94 on Pittsburgh, right? I would never talk bad about our Pittsburgh user, though. We know he is learning how to play franchise mode, and especially learn how to play in our league. The problem is this: he got more kahunas than most of you guys in this league because y'all wouldn't have sat through that type of ass whooping. And still call me and talk about their team and be excited about it. Like, they understand where they are as a player right now, but they know what they see and what they're doing. They know they're improving. Simple as that.
And then he's still out here trying to bust a move for the next move and managing his cap and everything for the next, like right now, right away.
Cardinals is on vacation. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Cardinals is on vacation, so the Giants, we're not talking about them right now. We had a whole discussion about that. Ravens ain't playing games right now. I just found out he got some things going on family-wise right now, so he has a pass as of right now because at this point we are already looking to replace guys. You go down to the Eagles and the Broncos. Circumbot has no business on giving up 80 points the week before and then 57 this week. Like, what are we doing over there? Right? But guys are getting their ass whooped. Ain't no help going on over there. How you develop your team. And I'm not going to spend my first episode, my premiere episode on showing teams yet. I just want to give y'all base on where we at right now. Right? I want to give you the reason why I did the things I did in all my leagues, why I help out, why I make sure guys are straight, why I keep things balanced, why I give out gifts, why I was doing the stuff I was doing to keep things the way they are, because when we leave it up to y'all showing us you can't go into a game and get beat 83-17 and you're a playoff team. You let the Seahawks come through there and beat the brakes off of you. What are we talking about right now? 47-20, that game ain't get played, or neither did the Browns Bills. And if I go through every week like this, you're going to see scores like that, and that tells me that guys are getting the brakes beat off of them right now. And why can I judge that? Because in Game of Thrones we wasn't seeing multiple scores like this. You really wasn't seeing scores like this unless a guy played the computer, to be honest with you. So what is it? When you check yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, who are you? What is the reason why we seeing scores so lopsided like this and guys getting their brakes beat off of them? Right? And again, when are y'all going to start? Because look, if you're in my league, it's because you take this thing real serious and you damn near obsessed with the Madden, with the Madden game, just like I am. Right? That means you have to look at your team. I mean, I got guys that really is so invested that they are not only looking up their rookies, they are reading me stuff, giving me shit that I missed to be able to get guys built the way they should be built a little better. I might have missed some things, and you got guys fighting for those type of things right now, and that tells me they nothing but locked in and invested, and they understand what they got or why they got him. Like, I drafted this guy because I knew he was this, and that. This is what the information I got on him said and all that. I did my scouting, and my scouting said this. Is this something you missed? No, they ain't disrespecting me, but they asking me, is this something you missed? Take a look at him. Let me know what you think. I take a look at him and, they might be right. Oh, my God, this guy led their team as a freshman on the field and receiving yards and all that. He went crazy last year. Shit. All right, you're right. Let me read some more stuff. You're right, man. Maybe he should be a superstar. And we go from there, right? And shit happens,
you
bro.
looking about reading that verbiage. Big word, key word there.
I mean, let's talk about the guys that are playing through the draft. Simple as that. Let's start looking at some of these stat lines right now. Let's stay over here in the stats and let's talk about what guys are doing right now. I mean, how do you compete when guys are throwing 12 touchdowns in one game, right? Bryce Young out there still look. As much, what's the? Let me do me a favor, Snake. Help me out here. What's the Dolphins' record?
All right, let me go to that screen right quick. Dolphins is 2-3. They have scored 228 points and 225 points again.
All right, one of the top teams in the league. Let me ask you this, Snake. After 2 years of us saying the Dolphins was a Super Bowl or bust team, do you still feel that way about this team?
I think they lost a lot, and they continue to lose. And they just not. I think they losing more than they bringing in. Really, like they started bringing in some early pieces, but they haven't. They done lost 2 top 10 DB, and even though Harlan was on star, I think you put it right on the head. Though they probably should have been got rid of Tyreek Hill. We've seen him. We've seen this guy, this coach develop wide receivers, have top wide receivers out the mud.
I mean, Bryce Young is right on his average right now, right? And he on his average
Bryce
400
Young
yards a
shit.
game. He doing what he do. We know what Bryce can do. Look, in year one, Bryce averaged 462.3 yards a game. Comes back 457. He's at 442 again right now. I mean, he's on 25 touchdowns, 13 picks already, only in 5 games right now. So he's still who he is. We know it. We understand that, right? Bryce is who he is right now. Nothing changed on his offense. Only thing changed on his offense was Tyreek Hill went from an X factor to a star. And the Tyreek Hill on star or normal, wherever you on right now, is still one of the better receivers in the league thus far, right? Because everybody receivers aren't built to like a Tyreek Hill when he's a 99 receiver right now. So he's still better than
Still
anybody on this
99
league right
speed.
now. Like he's still who he is, right? So your offense is what it is, right? But then on the defensive side of things aren't the same over there anymore. You was masked by having Jalen Ramsey. That shut people down. That shut top receivers down because a lot of guys don't even have receivers anywhere near better than Jalen Ramsey, right? Javon Holland did a lot of things for you in that secondary. He was able to hold it down on the back end for you, shut things down. Now you got to do more work as a user because your players aren't playing for you the way they were playing for you early on. So when we talked about you being a complete team and having one of the better teams, we were counting those veterans in your secondary. Whether they had abilities or not, we were counting those guys. You're missing those guys and you're struggling, but they're not out of it. 2-3 is not nowhere near out of it, especially with the offense hitting on all cylinders like this, right? All cylinders like that. I'm looking for young guys. I don't care about Patrick Mahomes. He should be doing what he's doing with Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league. Just throwing the ball with Patrick Mahomes makes your defense play like shit, period. Drake May, though, in his second season. Now Drake May is on X Factor, and right now Drake May got 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 74%. This is a guy that gets it done with the guys he drafts. Simple as that. Ask yourself about Anthony Richardson. If we graded Anthony Richardson from year 1 to year 3 right now, what are you seeing? Like, I would say he's still the same guy he was as a rookie that he is right now, in my opinion. Right? And here's why. Because AR came out flinging the ball all over the park. I mean, dominated the stat lines. But he also dominated in negative parts of the stat line because you go look at the INT ratio, the touchdown ratio, it wasn't too much different from him throwing 100 touchdowns in year 1 and 65. Look at it, 163 picks, 54 and 39, 16 and 22. 107 QBR, 99.4, 80.4. So each year, his completion percentage rating is going down. QBR is going down. His completion percentage is going down every year from 61 as a rookie, 58 to 52 right now. AR-15 needs to get it together, and I just think flinging it all around the park ain't cutting it no more because guys is catching up to all that with their team level. So what do you go do? he went and attacked his running back game now. He's trying to get a running back in the building right now. He's working on a guy. He just had 6 rushing touchdowns with a running back. He understands, take the pressure off AR. So this is what I'm saying. Foles doing the right thing. The only thing Foles doing wrong, in my opinion, is stop the tanking. Stop taking the season off. Stop taking the season off chasing draft picks and things like that, because that's the only thing I can fan him in my head. That's what you're doing. Try to trade for him. Try to get down there and get a pick. Because I mean, he understands that, right? You don't chase running backs. You don't go trade for McCaffrey, or pick up a young running back in the draft and things like that. You don't go do that looking for running backs to not understand that we need to balance our offense out a little bit more to stop Anthony Richardson from having to do everything. I mean, am I making a fair assessment?
Well, I think. Even though he's passing a little bit less and them interceptions up, you'd like to see them interceptions go down, that completion percentage go up a little bit. So, short term, what better way not to add? Why not add a McCaffrey?
No, it's great, but see the thing about him that when you talk about negative stuff, the positive stuff gotta be celebrated as well. You cannot tell me that he doesn't do a good job of moving around and getting the things he get drafting and putting pieces together on his team. He does a good job of that, right? Because that, to me, to bring a motherfucking McCaffrey in, even though you got a 2-year window with him because of his age,
first.
right? But then he made a big sacrifice because he got rid of a big defensive piece on his team, a very big defensive piece on his team to be able to make that happen.
With that being said, he did draft. He does have a replacement there already, so at least he has some type of plan. Or Flo has some plans over there. He be planning something.
Yeah.
So at least he does. He has a lot of stuff down, a lot of the ways down. Just need to see that full picture.
Davis Richard. Look, man, he had a great rookie year, and right now he's trying to follow that up right now. Now, the one thing about him that you got to take in mind is there's not another team in the league outside of the Saints and the Bucks that take as many deep shots down the field as Davis Richards and the Rams team do. So that 56% is kind of like a 63%, 64% to me if he was playing a whole field game. But they throw deep more than they do anything, and for you to throw deep, that's a good completion percentage in my opinion. 56 completion percentage is pretty solid because you throwing the ball downfield more than anything, and ain't no check downs involved. You can't mash your completion percentage by throwing dink and don'ts. These motherfuckers taking shots, and every time they take a shot, they 56%. They got a 56% chance of catching it. That's a high chance of throwing deep balls. And then Hooker. Right? This is one of the quarterbacks that was on pace to being one of the best. Why? He was one of the only 3 guys after the first year of playing that got his quarterback to go up and trade during the season. Hendon Hooker. What we do know is Hooker plays in the check down game, right? I would like to see him take some more deep shots. They check the fuck down in Green Bay. Right, and if you going to check down like that though, because what's happening is they don't play no defense in Green Bay. The Green Bay defense is by one of the worst defenses in the league. Simple as that. I seen 2 teams last year go against that Green Bay defense that have perfect QBRs, not being stopped one time going up and down the field. But the problem is Hendon Hooker in that offense, they can surgically move the ball up and down the field. The problem is not enough deep shots here, not enough things that stretch the field, because when guys lock into your check down game, where can you go after that? Like, we need to see him take that next step now. Like, he took a step early and then he kind of flatlined out a little bit, right? Because he's playing within his strengths more than he's trying to, broaden the horizon with Hendon Hooker. You can make Hendon Hooker dangerous just by making niggas can't cheat you by checking down. As soon as they check down and cheat your check down, you go over top of their head and make them pay for it. You'll keep guys unbalanced, because what's going to end up happening when you show you can throw the ball deep? Guys aren't going to play hard flats on you all game long and ain't going to jump your short routes. They're going to stay back and let you get up and down the field and try to just stop you that way. And it's hard to stop a person that a goal. It's hard to jump the shit you like to do when they got to worry about back behind their backs too. But when DBs don't got to turn their backs and all they got to do is come forward, it makes it hard, right? You still 71%. You still producing offensively, but like there's a lot of stress on your defense too, because your defense is putting stress on your offense because they don't get no stops at all, and offensively you're checking down, and when a guy figure out the check down, you lose 83 to 83. You give up 83 points. Simple as that. And you can't match the scoring, the firepower like that because you don't have no firepower yourself outside of long drives and checkdowns. All right, you go look at Khalid Williams. Look, he just as of right now, Khalid Williams is the worst quarterback in the league right now. And the reason why he's playing better right now is because the user ain't playing games right now. He's on vacation. And because he's on vacation, we all know the computer going to play better games. Simple as that. It don't matter who you are. If the computer play for you, the computer going to play. Especially if guys play your computer, the computer's going to have they're going to do some good things for you. And to be honest with you, maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs these games to be missed and all that. But his team is going to be in the red forever. Like right now, he has to be able to fight himself and to be able to win a division game, not alone trying to get these guys out of the red, because he spent the first 2 seasons trying to lose.
Oh man, might as well send them before you got to repay them. Send them to Carolina. Don't even worry about repaying them. Draft you another quarterback.
We spent a lot of conversation on Malik Cunningham, and I think Malik Cunningham is in a show us something this year situation before you don't even be the quarterback in New York. Shador Sanders. I think Shador is Shador, and I'm another guy that has this quarterback, and I'm playing pretty well with the quarterback. Simple as that, right? 67%. You like that? 311 yards a game, and this ain't even what we want. We don't even want him throwing that much for that many yards that in the game. To be honest with you, we want our offense way more balanced than that.
So AFC Championship. So.
And then you come down to KJ Jefferson, and he's doing a good job with his rookie quarterback. Let's just be real. He's doing a good job with his rookie quarterback. All right, you got Will Levis and C.J. Stroud out of the same draft class. Let's take a look at Will Levis. And 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, and he's another guy that take a lot of deep shots, but his numbers is down this year. Now, I haven't really paid attention to them because I said I wouldn't until next season when we got to go back and play them. Remember, I told you it'll cycle back around, and I will see this team again. This team ran it up on me. I mean, they was throwing bombs on me in the fourth quarter. I'm not forgetting that shit. I promise you. We're coming back to take their fucking head off somehow, some way. So next year, I'll pay attention to this team. Not right now, though. But I don't know what's going on with Will Levis and them. Record-wise, it don't seem like they're comfortable, but I don't think they're out of it at all. And then he's thrown 14 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. So, and he's only been sacked 4 times. So Will ain't playing bad, in my opinion. But the next step is Will got to win in the playoffs and continue to win in the playoffs. Right? He got a big step by winning the wild card game and then lost the next game. He got to better win. You know what I mean? The New Orleans Saints fan base, they just want more. C.J. Stroud, right? So C.J. Stroud been in the league, and he's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the second best quarterback that was in that first year's draft class. And C.J. Stroud is right now a quarterback that. And what happens when you got a quarterback on a really good football team that's surrounding him, and yet they still pick in the top 10 every year? You start to blame the quarterback, right? And it goes coaching, quarterback, because the GM giving them the pieces to be successful with. So it goes coaching the quarterback. So C.J. Stroud need to get out of that bubble. He needs to find a way to start winning some ball games over there before he find himself not seeing his his first contract.
And speaking of C.J. Stroud, right quick, man, I just want to touch on something, man. You know how you dump the league down on abilities and stuff, and the league's not full of X factors and stuff like that.
Right.
So, think when you go to question your players, I know it's a lot of draft classes and leagues and stuff that probably have C.J. Stroud or X factor. But just to the extent that you dump the league down, he came out on Superstar. Bryce Young was the only quarterback that come out on X Factor that year. I just want to point stuff like that out. That's all. So it's like league overall abilities and stuff got dumped down. It's really been a thing with you got to work and develop players, and things like that is still what makes some of these stars and normals out here still playable at a high level.
Yes, sir.
You know, we've even seen quarterbacks, go out here on star and compete for MVP, Player of the Year type things, etc. Like, and want to continue that. We want those special players to really be special and their specialness to be able to be seen.
Now, listen, Jaden Daniels came out, right? And Jaden Daniels, to me, he was needed. The Broncos needed to go get a Jaden Daniels over what they had at quarterback. I didn't think Stetson Bennett was the guy, so especially what they trying to run over there. The problem is now that he's, the quarterback in that over there, and they're pitting shit around him. It's not looking good over there right now. It's not looking like he should have been a first round pick. I still don't agree with him going in the first round. I think he could have got him later on. But he did go get his quarterback, and the problem right now is they're just not a good football team. What are they doing over there? I don't know.
In a tougher division as well.
I mean, I agree. Now, Malik Murphy is a diaper dandy that came out this year, and right now he's playing like he's the best quarterback in the draft, right? Because the other quarterback that was a first-round guy is not playing right now. He's sitting behind Lamar Jackson. But I like this.
Treatment.
I like this, though. Malik Murphy, 11 touchdowns, 4 INTs, 60% right now. They got a heavy run game over there with B. John Robinson down in the building. I like it. I think he's in a perfect situation where he's going to hand the ball off more than he's going to throw the ball. But when he do throw the ball, he's got 60% right now. And 11 touchdowns and 4 interceptions look really good.
Quez Watkins.
Simple as that. So I like it, right? And then you got a guy that, came out of nowhere, Ty Thompson. This was a quarterback that probably shouldn't be starting right now, but he went into the right system, right circumstances. And, 5 touchdowns, 4 picks, 64% right now. And he has his team sitting at 4-0 right now. So that's all you can ask for. Is he a game manager? Is he a playmaker? What is he? We don't know that yet because, until the Browns have to really play somebody, we don't know what the fuck's going on right now. And that's coming. He got some guys on the schedule that's going to really got to show us that they're a team that's ready for a playoff run right now. Starting off that way. But again, when you're getting forced wins right now, you're not really getting to show who you really are, and you're not even getting tested right now. So until that happens, Ty Thompson, we can talk good about him right now, and he's manageable, and he's doing better than Deshaun Watson did over there. But
I think he's doing right. He decided to play him at the right time. Regardless of what's going on, he got him in at the right time, and he getting some wins early in his career up under his belt.
Jalen Milroe is a starting quarterback in this league by force. All right. So see, the problem with Jalen Milroe is he gave you a false narrative. He comes out week 1 in a bad connection game and look like oh my God, he's the guy. But then those 11 picks happen in one game, right? And that game showed you who he really is. Because the next couple of guys you play that's tough top tier level like that, you snuck one past me. But the next guys you play like that, God forbid connection, and you don't always have bad connection. So I'm not pitting it on you like that, but I'm just telling you your quarterback showed you who he really was when he played the Chiefs. He's going to show you who he really is when he plays the Chargers. Tell me his schedule, and I'll tell you who he's going to show you who he really is. He's not a starting quarterback yet. He's not ready to start. And in fact, I probably would have had Bo Nix starting and Jalen Milroe, or you force him in because you just took over this team just a season ago and you got room for error right now. So you could put him in and try to build the shit out of him, and I get that, but he's going to show you who he really is. Because those first two games you played wasn't truth games in my sense. He's not showing you who he was in those first 2 games, and you got something bright to look forward to. You're gonna have to make him a dog.
Holy shit! All right, he got a dub first week, 49-31 over the Texans. 2, he beat the Bears 24-21. Week 3, CPU win over the Jaguars. Oh gosh, week 4, 70-7 to the Chiefs. He got the Bills. Then he got the Chargers. Then he got a bye week. Then he got the Browns, Broncos, Commanders, Broncos, Giants, Cowboys, Eagles, Titans, Chargers again, Chiefs again, and then he got the Colts.
Now, Some of that schedule is favorable in my sense, but what I'm telling you is Jalen Milroy ain't that guy, and he's gonna sell you on these games, and you have to really play special football to be able to make shit happen. The way I think you're gonna make shit happen, I don't see it happen. I think he'll end up with more interceptions than touchdowns before the season is out over and done with. And this is just me being real. I think the Knicks gives this team a better chance to win than Jalen Milroy do.
Um, played ball next last year too.
Now it's easy to look at running back. Sean Tucker comes out of free agency. Sean Tucker had a special pro day, and the speed of this guy, he's arguably one of the best running backs in the league. He arguably could be the best running back in this league, especially out of the diaper dandy bunch. But then you got a guy now, Raheem Sanders, who's only got 1 year of full experience, and he's right back at it again, showing us who he is. B. John Robinson now is going to be a running back, in my opinion, because he's at a running system. He's a running back that's going to be in the top conversation all the time as well. 110 carries, 704 yards right now. He's definitely going to crack that 1,500 yard mark. He should end up with 2,000 yards before it's all said and done. AJ Green has stepped into a role of, good running back. The problem is he's starting off with 2 fumbles again, and this guy fumbled a lot last year. Again, he goes on X Factor because of he had a breakout game. He goes on X Factor because he got it the next game. But when you look at him stat wise right now, the only knock I had on him last year, being an 1,600 yard back, 1637, 16 touchdowns last year, was the 8 fumbles, right? Right now, it's early and he already got 2. So we got to figure out if he has a fumble problem, because with NFL team going to pay a man to fumble the ball like that, them fumbles turn into losses. He lost a playoff game and a regular season game off of fumbles. So he better get it together. But outside of that, everything else, he's doing a really good job at it right now, doing a hell of a job. But fumbles can really halt your back. Excuse me, Evan Hall, the speed demon. He's not going to get a lot of carries, but he's going to have a lot of yards per carry. Like, he's going to average a lot of good runs, right? Because that threat downfield is so big over there. He can take a stretch to the crib at any moment. Perfect
Still
type of
gonna
running
average
back.
100 yards a game.
Mm-hmm.
Still gonna average 130 yards a game.
Perfect running back in a perfect system. Speed type of running back that's in the system where you're so scared of his deep ball passing, that he can take a stretch to the crib at any moment.
He saw his value at normal, and now he got him up to a superstar.
All right, AI, the my player running back to me could be another one of those backs that you should be looking at as one of the best running backs in this league. Flat out, 6.5, 7 touchdowns, 125, 28.5 right now. He's getting it done. No fumbles, 14 broken tackles, and he catches the ball really well out of the backfield. Chase Brown is another back that's not in a run system offense, but he gets it done. 6.9 yards a carry, 124 yards a game right now. Caution to look at the 2 fumbles and say, wait a minute. Will Shipley, not a starting running back in my opinion, but has to carry the load over there for the Packers right now. And he's doing a bad job at all. 5.1 yards a carry is pretty solid, and 3 touchdowns. So I ain't mad at that. Chris Tyree is the speed demon. He averages 6.1, 101.8 yards a game right now, 407 yards on 67 carries. Not bad at all. Now, Lawrence Philly was one of the best running backs that came out of this draft class we just had. And the Eagles got rid of a dog at running back, and they picked up another dog at running back, in my opinion. It's a downgrade to who B. John Robinson really is, but I will say this. He's doing a hell of a job with him right now. 58 carries, 6.9 yards. It makes it seem like the Eagles, every time we say, damn, they did that, why would they trade him or why would they pick him up? They show us why, because they're doing a good job with the things that we question. All right, you got the big bruiser back who had a great season last year, who's now averaging 3.9, so 4 yards a carry right now. I'm not mad at a 230-pound back, bruiser that's averaging 4 yards a carry. I do think he's good enough, and he showed us last year that he was good enough to be able to average more carries per yard. And if you start doing that, that means he's breaking a lot of tackles. You see the 30 broken tackles right now. So this guy's an animal in the backfield for the Cowboys, and in my opinion, he needs to do a little bit more with them because I think the way he runs the ball, it should add to more wins, in my opinion. Would you agree or disagree with that statement? The way that guy runs the football, he should be able to win some more games for him. He should win 4 or 5 games alone by himself. What I will tell you is that the kid on season stat right now, right? Let's go look at his career stats. We'll look at what he's doing at 25. Go look at what he's doing as a receiver. He already has 24 catches out the backfield, 250 yards. So they use him as a receiver and a running back. He is their weapon over there outside of that tight end. So to me, I think this guy can win him more ball games than he's winning right now. All right, we got some new guys in the system right now. 12 rushing touchdowns from Jalen Wright. We got a speed demon that was picked up. I'll tell you one thing about them Titans. They're going to go find speed if they can get it. 95 carries. Now, he only averaged 3.8, right, because he's not a back that's an in-between-the-tackle type back. This guy is going to turn the corner and get loose. But they're going to work this guy into something special, and they're going to figure out if he can be something special. Right. And, and if it doesn't work, they went and got a second tier guy, which is the first tier guy, and Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was at one point the leading rusher in our league. He got shut down because that 49ers shut him down, not because he wasn't ready to play anymore. So they got another choice over there in that backfield for the Tennessee Titans. So, but at this point, I like that they're trying to get him developed. All right. Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the best running backs coming out of the first drive. This guy should run the ball way better, and we lost connection.
Oh.
Service? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear you. Still on.
Man, this fucking cat just went right behind my TV. You motherfucker, man. I'm not continuing that fucking show. Dumbass fucking cat. Come on, fucking Oreo. Why would you walk behind there? Yeah, you. I ain't call you over here, fat girl. Why you walk behind the TV, baby girl? Lucky I love you. You my favorite, so I ain't gonna be cussing you out. I'm gonna beat the little cat ass. What? Why you walk behind the TV? Huh? You talking to me? Yo, bro.
Yo.
It's late. I gotta play Mark's computer too, just FYI, because he on.
You cut the YouTube jump? You cut the stream?
That shit already. What's the name? I'm about to. It just cut me out the game. I gotta play Mark's computer though, but I'm gonna save. I'll save it. I'm not gonna broadcast. I'll save the broadcast when I play it.
All right.
He out of town. His wife graduating. Don't know where she's graduating at, but he's not in Germany. I think he's in the States right now. All right, so we back now. I wasn't going to go through every position tonight, but I just wanted to show what guys are doing with some of their young talent right now, because obviously real draft is about the draft classes, right? But some guys got to be real with themselves. There's nothing wrong with grabbing a couple of guys from the real draft class and then grabbing guys that guys want to get rid of. Some of you guys got to understand this. It might be better to give up picks or swap picks or move back in the draft or do some things to better build your team. The Seahawks have done that just this year. They got rid of their pick. They drafted in the first 2 draft classes, then got rid of their picks this draft and brought some veterans in there, and it turned their team up right now. They're doing a really good job. They're undefeated right now, where they were fighting for their playoffs like last year. They off to a good start this year, and a lot of that good start is because Dak Prescott is behind the huddle right now. Like, he's the guy behind the line of scrimmage, so he's getting shit done. Why you walk behind the TV, sexy? Huh? And then come jump in my lap like that. I ain't call you over here. I was yelling at you. Oh, meanie. Yeah. But yeah, though, Snake man, look, man, first episode, my conversation is the reasons, right? And then the reasons is what are you doing? What's your reason for doing what you do with your team? I'm not here to try to play somebody out. I'm not here to try to talk bad on guys. What I am here is to say this. It's a scary thing to see these scores the way they are, because what happens when guys that win start getting their ass kicked and they losing because they not building the teams the way they supposed to be building, they lose interest in playing. Now I got guys on deck for the guys that's going to turn, because it's going to happen. Some guys are going to just stop. They're not going to pick up the sticks as fast as they used to. Like, you got guys that as soon as we advance be in the chat, yo, you ready to play? You're about to see that starting to change. Their energy going to change if they don't change their fate right now. If they start going bad for them and they not fixing that bad, they ain't going to be reaching out as much, right? Right. I ain't mad at you. Some force wins is
Sorry.
motherfucker. He said I'd rather get my ass kicked than the FW.
Who was that? Who said that?
I know that. I know that about you from when I first met you. When I just know I know that about you. So, but I gotta be real and have these conversations. We need to know: are you who you are, or are you getting the forced wins right now? Like the Bengals is going to give you a forced win. He has to. He's not even in town right now. He had an emergency that happened that I won't speak on, but he had an emergency that happened, and it's not your fault. You have to take force wins right now, but it's still
Keep our
going to be
prayers
part
with
of
D
our.
West and his
Yeah,
family. That's
yeah.
all.
It's going to be discussed though. Are you undefeated because you whooping ass right now, and or you undefeated because the schedule or the people you're playing just can't play right now? So, you're going to have to answer that question soon.
I can't even build chemistry with my team SMH.
I ain't mad at that at all, and I hate that shit. Maybe
I
play the
could win my
computer, bro.
first 2 games though.
Next time it happens, just at an adequate time, just hit us so we put the team on auto and you just play the computer. I'm not. If I gotta listen, if a guy give me the force when I'm playing the computer, I am not missing no chemistry with my team. I'm telling you right now.
Just make sure you stream it and broadcast it, and it ain't no restarts playing a computer.
Yeah.
Make sure you know the rules.
And there's a stat line threshold too. Like you can't do certain shit with certain people. Like you can't go over numbers and stats and stuff like that. Some guys know how to spam the fuck out the computer. But man, listen, all I know is this. You got guys that are quietly building their teams right now, and some of you guys are whooping their ass because your team is just better than theirs right now, right? And they sitting through those ass whoopings. But when that tide turn, and it's starting to turn right now, and I'm seeing some of you guys that that was looking all great and dominant early on, you're starting to get a little quieter right now. I'm not really hearing y'all talking shit. A little nervous. I'm seeing the things y'all putting in the chat, all that stuff. And remember, the ass whoopings that was given out always can be returned. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody else that's doing what they're supposed to be doing and waiting for that ass whooping on the flip side of it. I know I am. That's what I do. You get me and you do some disrespectful shit. And why you getting me? And I know why you're getting me. When I get you, and I still won't know if I get anybody that got me. I won't run a score up on them. I will call the dogs off in a heartbeat. That's just who I am. You're not gonna see me, not too many times put up 90 on motherfuckers and all that shit. I would never do that. I'd rather work on shit and get other players better on my team than doing that shit. Some of you guys out here putting 80 and 70 and 80 up on guys every week and shit, and running the same old shit and ain't building nobody but the same 3-4 niggas and shit. And then when you get to the dogs, they whoop your ass right back. I like that shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Look, man, that was my first episode, man. The premier reasons. I told y'all what my reasons was of why I was having this show, and one of my reasons why I did this show is because I'm a little nervous right now, man. Because there's a lot of guys getting their ass whooped right now, and I want to just know how, are y'all gonna have the same energy y'all had, when we first started the league and things were going our way.
Reason.
I need a reason. I need a reason why, man. I keep telling y'all, man, that shit ain't gonna change. The reason why. What the fuck's going on out here, man? What's the reason why we seeing these scores like this, Snake? What's the reason niggas sitting in the cut right now building their team quietly and got niggas thinking they ass right now to chill? I need to know if I'm a blow. Holla at me, hits, pay attention.